Welcome to Beyond the Box. Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box.
Break it down.
Our guests are insiders, now on the outside and the right side, dropping truth and nuclear intel bombs and breaking it down just for you. And now it's time to meet your hosts and co-host. Your hosts of Beyond the Box are Brenda Lankart and Suzanne Hott. Brenda Lankart is host of Beyond the Box and retired law enforcement. Joined by Suzanne Hott, host of Beyond the Box, Joel's Indoor Arena and Event Center, and White Horse Productions. Their co-host is Brian Singh, co-host Beyond the Box, Full Disclosure Now Movement, fulldisclosuremovement.org. This show is for entertainment purposes only. And now discover new boundaries beyond the box. Inside, outside, upside, downside. Beyond the box begins now.
Break it down.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Box. I know we've been on a little vacation. It has not been fun, but there is something that I do want to say to each and every one of you that are out there watching. When I got out of the hospital, I had so many emails, messages, wishing me well. I want to thank everybody for your thoughts and your prayers. I was under some severe attack, and I'm getting better. So I'm still taking it easy a little bit. I've got Susie tonight. Tommy Edwards will be here. We have a great guest tonight. We have Mark from the Chosen Kingdom. We've been talking. Very interesting man. We are going to be doing a lot of changes, guys. We're not going to change our content. We're going to keep pulling in some good guests, but we're going to be doing some different changes. And I've missed you all. Hi, Susie.
Hey, right? Oh, it's so good to have you back, Brenda. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so good.
Almost died, man. Six doctors sitting there going, huh? What happened? I wasn't the one who went to school to be a doctor. I'd probably be rich if I did, but hey. So how's your day been today?
It's been slow. It's been good, but it's been a good day, just trying to get a lot of work done. You know how that goes. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but
You and
good.
I both we got some work to do. I'm gonna have to make a trip out to your house again here shortly.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah,
gonna have to do some more things.
yeah.
So something that I have missed for the last 2 weeks. Susie, ma'am, would you please lead us in prayer?
I will. All right. I just want to talk to the Father and ask him to keep his hand on us, watch us, protect us, keep us safe. Um, block any negative, evil forces that would try to come against us, and bless our guests and what we're going to talk about tonight. And I ask that in Jesus' name.
Yes. In Jesus' name. Absolutely. Um, hello, Elizabeth, Denise, William. Glad to see y'all here. So I have, wait, where'd he go? I had Tommy here for a whole hot minute. Where'd he go? I hate when people disappear on me like that. All right, so we are going to go ahead and bring out our guest for tonight. He is Mark, and he is from the Chosen Kingdom, is his podcast. I'm watching the chat. Hey, wait a minute, hang on. Before we lose him again, Tommy, get in here.
I mean, hey, Tommy.
Went to click on you and you like disappeared.
I got a black screen. That's all I got.
You have a black. We see you.
We see you.
I see like I got on both sides. I got like kind of bluish, teal, purple.
Well, yeah, that's the background that I put up to get rid of the other one.
Okay. But,
So-
yeah, I'll have a black screen.
Well,
Oh, wow.
you might have to go out and come back in.
That's what I was
Give it a
doing.
try. All right, I'm going to go
Yeah.
ahead and bring Mark in, okay?
Now I got the screensaver.
Screensaver.
You know, the background, I guess.
I don't even have a screensaver. What the heck?
Which is it looks like a screensaver. It's like it just movement, like blue, green, like space.
Yeah, like the blue, green, purple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're waiting to do some new artwork, everybody, and we're going to have some other stuff put up. So just give us a little bit of time because, yeah, I'm still trying to keep from stumbling and falling on my face. All right. So everybody, let's bring out Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, how you doing, Bree? Hi, Susie.
Hey,
Hey, Tommy.
Tommy.
Hey,
He's here.
Listen, he's like a rock star with that hair. He can't, you know,
he is a rock star.
technology-wise, we're not gonna hold it to him that he's got the black screen going on.
Look,
I don't
he
know
is
what's
a rock
going on.
star. He usually always has a guitar in his hand. He sings. He writes songs. He is a poet. He also paints. Yeah, that's
Nice.
our multi-talented dude right here.
I could do a little bit of it too, Tommy. Guitar
Thank you,
and
man.
sing.
that's cool. It's a wonderful thing, you know, like creative expression.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
It's
Music is glorious when it's used for proper purposes.
yes.
Exactly. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
I loved your opener, by the way. So that's an old one. You've created a new one because I just did my own new one.
We're getting ready to do a new one. That's the older one, and we have to. We're going to take it off because of the voice in it. We can't just take the voice out without the music. So what's going on is Tommy's writing us a new intro, and that he's going to play himself. It's going to be his music, and then he's going to put the video together for us. So
you could take the sound off of the video and redo the sound.
I heard that you can, but don't you have to have something special? See, here you know you were talking about people that don't know how to do this electronic stuff. And let me tell you, I've just learned how to do this stuff, and I've had this show since January.
That's
I can't even do a thumbnail by myself yet.
so. Wait, we'll get to it at the end of it because that's sort of what the Chosen Kingdom, a part of it is about. Is that creating a network of people, and then that way you always have access to the answers. Like I was saying earlier, James called me up about something, but he also showed me a really cool technology that's not too expensive that can help us all too. So, you know, like when we all help each other, the people who do not have the thousands and thousands and thousands of people, we're the ones with the real information. So why are these people, and I'm not going to pick on anybody today, I'm going to really try hard not to be specific about it, but anyone in this fight who has an extensive following, I'm sorry, but they're probably in one way, shape, or form compromised, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, I've met quite a few of them. Susie and I, like I said, we decided that after what just happened to the both of us, we are going to keep our circle extremely small. It's going to have to be a big trust factor because what happened to us, I mean, and me, I got screwed all the way around. I trusted somebody with every bit of my information, email, passwords, everything, went in and stole my platform from me. I had to start paying for it again after paying for it for a year. And I mean, it was horrible. And so I will never ever open my heart like that again, ever. I've got barbed wire around it, and anybody plays with my heart, they're gonna get stuck.
And
Stuck.
I said, turn it on, hook it up to the electric so they get zapped
That's
too.
right.
You know.
That's right. Or
Yeah.
at least if I need a bump start, all I gotta do is hit the button.
That could actually lead into my story in what I'm telling you, and sort of like actually bind into what it is that you're saying, because here's what happened to you, Bree, is that you were infiltrated.
Yes.
That's what happened. Period.
Yes.
Like
Absolutely.
at the baseline of what it was an infiltration. It wasn't
somebody
just
I trusted. When this all happened, I cried for 2 days, Mark, because I thought this person was my friend, and I completely trusted her with everything in my life.
So here comes my story. You ready? So
I'm ready.
I told Bree and Susie, Tommy, all the backstory to this, right? But I had when Truth Social first started, I created a side channel, a group called Down the Road Past the Tree, which never had more than 50 people in it. Right now, there's 6 people in it, and only 3 of us are active. And the only reason why I have it, and I have it up here today, is because it's a database. I could literally, any topic that we speak about, I can keyword into it, pull from my database, and get every thought I've ever had, every dig I ever had on it. So as we're talking, I could go into it and we could literally use it. Now, here's the thing. As I told you, there were 50 people in it. Now, what if I told you all those, not all, but 30% of those people who were in it were actual infiltrators who got caught.
I
Who
don't
got
doubt that.
caught
Believe it.
infiltrating, who were my best friends for a year. And
Yeah.
then one of them was my best friend for a year. I caught him, kicked him out, remade friends with him on purpose to catch him and his crew again. And it took me a year of compiling data on him to really lay the hammer on him. And I made 2 big shows about them. It's called Red Check Reveal is the
Nice.
name of the show. And it's because there is a network of people who are red checks and not red checks who are working together behind the scenes, and blue checks are just the same, in order to find people like you, Bree, like you, Susie, and I'd assume like you, Tommy, that have figured out the essence of what is happening here, the spark of it, right?
Right.
And they are trying to stop us from getting to something. What if I told you that this week I have determined what it is that what their goal is through using mathematics? I have determined that the 2030 thing is real. The demons, they are looking for something that is happening in 2030, and they are moving the line in the sand over and over again, because this whole answer that this, and I'm not going to pick on this stuff, but like, let's just take Nasara Gasara and let's say the best of the best things. And trust me, I want it all too. I'm a Trump voter beyond the reason, just I'm there. I'm with everybody. I'm beyond where everybody is on that, right? I'm just there. But that being said, there's something much bigger going on here. And we have to be aware of that. And what that is they have something that they know is happening in 2030, and all they need to do is deceive us long enough to make it there. And do you guys hear what's going on with the sound, by the way?
Well, that's Tommy because he's using his phone, so it refurbishes through.
Oh, it does?
But yeah, we've gotten used to it. But now I will tell you this, okay? I do believe in that 2030. And I also believe in the fact of certain dreams that I've had. And this woman that had come into my hospital room the day before they let me go home, she told me, you need to get your abilities back up, get them back in line. You and everybody with abilities, you all need to come together and you need to work together. You guys are going to need it. So that tells me what we have going on is beyond Trump. It is beyond the government. It is beyond all of that. We are fixing, people think we're in a spiritual battle now. Just wait. This is nothing. This is warming up on the backside. I've already been told. And by the way, whoever prayed for this woman to find me in my hospital room, thank you, because she was heaven sent. I have no idea who she was. She is from New Orleans. She walked in there, sat on my bed, and she told me what was going on, not knowing her from Adam. And she said, we better get ready. And you people that have abilities, remote viewing, all this other stuff, quit playing. Quit playing. We all need to come together and strengthen each other. Quit playing. Because you know what? This isn't just going to be with Jesus. Because all of the rest of them little bad things that are happening, we are going to have to help back him up. We are going to have to help. And that is what our God-given abilities were for. Our strength in numbers is no joke. No joke. And we better be ready.
And no dominion, period.
That's right. That's right. So with every backbone of everybody's being, everybody needs to really start huffing it up and picking up pace. And I feel it. And the dreams that I've had the last few nights, it's been freaking phenomenal. And this woman has been helping. And Denise, we will be having Dennis Carroll on next Saturday night, and I have got him bringing everything to the table on witchcraft and black magic, because that is exactly what attacked me and put me in the hospital and almost killed me. So this is no joke, guys. We're going to start beefing up our shows with some of this stuff, and people need to really pay attention, you know, because just like we need Jesus for our salvation, he's going to need us to help hold off the small things that he doesn't need to sweat. And that's just the way it's going to have to go.
And listen to our intuition. We need to pay better close to that little inner intuition that's giving you that warning, and not ignore it. It's very important.
And Susie and I were talking earlier, and she mentioned the book to me, and when she said it, I said, that is the book for everyone to read about the occult, because unfortunately it is what's going on here, and it's Pistis Sophia. And you know, there are lots of books that we should read, and we shouldn't be afraid to read them, because reading them allows us to understand what the opposition is doing. And so when Susie mentioned the book to me, it was in one of my digs. It's in this Telegram probably about 1.5 years ago. And when you read their works, you come to a better understanding of identifying them where they stand just by watching behaviors.
Do you know, Mark, that there's actually mention of the reptilians in that book? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Although, I can't ever say I've met a nice one of those, but the ones that I have encountered, I wasn't afraid of them, but they didn't bother me. But I don't take from what I get from them when they're around me, and I can smell them when they're in human form and they walk by me. I smell them. I smell them. I've smelt them when they've been in their own form. I've passed them in grocery stores. They're all over the place. They're here. They walk around with us like people. But
Can I ask you something, Bree?
yeah, sure.
Do you feel, and maybe all three of you, do you feel that they are afraid of you?
Not the reptilians. They're not. I think
Yes.
that in the beginning they were kind of afraid of being ousted, because being something that people wouldn't know about, because we've always, other species consider us violent because we own guns, we fight, this and that. So being ousted at a time when they were not ready to come out could have harmed one of them. So it's not that I think that they're afraid of us. I think that they were just keeping part of their treaty on staying hid. That's the way I look at it. I come up from a long military brat and military spousal institutions, so they've had treaties. They've had treaties with our government. They've had treaties with all of them.
Can you explain to me? And I'm not saying it like as derogatory. I'm trying to understand it. So I told you earlier is my whole life I never believed in all this stuff, right?
Sure.
Now I now believe in the spiritual stuff, but I still have yet to see an alien, a reptilian, somebody shapeshift. No,
Now,
like I've seen some weird stuff, don't get me wrong, but not that.
now, a lot of the people who watch our show don't really know about my story because I have some hidden things. Susie knows, Tommy knows. I have some hidden things with my past I'm actually not allowed to say, and a lot of it is to keep me safe. So, but when I was growing up, my father used to work for Area 51. When I was 5 years old, I was taken to the White House by a relative. I was sexually molested by somebody that was there, underground the White House. And I was almost killed. I ran. That person did not smell right to me at all. And at 5, I didn't know what it was. So later on in life, a little bit, to keep me safe, my father kept me with him. And he had permission because I was so young, I wouldn't have spoke about what was going on. So I went with him one time. We took a plane with darkened windows. We landed out by a hangar. We went inside. We went through a room, down some stairs, through some bolt things. And in this one room, I seen these two creatures. Now, there was military men standing behind them with weapons, but these creatures were working on something. And my dad told me to stay back away from them, but I wasn't afraid of them. What I was I was curious. And I looked at him and I said, why do they smell like that? Why do they smell so bad? And he says, well, they live underground. And I said, they don't have showers underground? You know, I mean, I'm a 6-year-old kid. I want to know why their mommies don't bathe them, you know? But that was one of my first encounters with them, seeing something different. And then another year or so down the line, I went to the commissary with my mother. And we were in line, and there was a very tall man standing behind us. And he smelled just like that. Smelled, and it's a smell you don't forget, kind of like the first time you smell death. You never forget that. So I turned around and I was looking at him, and he stared down at me and he smiled, and half of his face dropped. And I seen the reptilian, and he put it back. And I went around my mom and I said, we got to go. We got to go. She goes, what's the matter with you? I said, that man's not human. He's not real. My mom said, you better knock it off and beat your ass in the store in front of everybody. you know. But, and then as I grew up, being around military, being on military bases, being around the bases, outside of the bases, living, I've encountered that smell numerous times. And they know.
Did you grow up Christian?
Actually, here's a story on that one. I grew up Catholic. And when I got old enough to realize that I wonder why this church keeps my dad in the middle, my mom over in that glass window, and the kids over here, I knew there was something wrong. And I didn't like it. So I went from that to a Baptist church. That was all right. Still wasn't what I was looking for. I did go to a Christian church and I kind of liked it, but they were more apt to being like, I don't know. It still didn't feel right.
Older than now.
Now, as I got a little bit older, I ran into a friend. Now, I have a green thumb. I love nature. I love animals. I don't care if something's sitting there half dead. I will bring it home and scrape it off the road and try to heal it. Okay. So I met this person who told me to go buy this book called Wicca for Dummies. So I did, and I read it. And I didn't care too much for like, well, we can give you this little spell to help you, get better. We can give you this. I didn't care about that. What I read about was how Mother Nature and the animals, the planet, the healing of plants. That is actually where I learned that plants are living organisms. Okay. So I liked that. And for a long time, that's what I did until I figured out something. I don't need a church and I don't need anybody shoving a Bible down my throat for me to know who my Lord and Savior is and who the Father God is. And guess what? That worked out better for me than anything else. Better than anything. Because sometimes I have a hard time with the Bible. It's like you get one sentence that's the truth. And you have to decipher a whole page out of one sentence. Because half of the other stuff, like with the Mandela effect, how it changes, somebody's changing that book. And I know it's not God. And I know it's not Jesus.
So, well, let me tell you this.
Okay.
What if I told you that those distinctions between the different books is actually man's doing, but it is a revealing as to what is actually going on. And because if you actually read the books side by side, I've come to maybe it's a individual determination. I'm a 50-year Jew, but I never believed in anything but God. I didn't follow a religion. I called myself a transcendentalist my whole life. Up until January 6th, I became a Christian, but I go to a church, but I am not a member of a church, I should say.
Yes.
I go probably pretty selfishly because I want to come together and I want to hear the word, and I want to hear the music. I want to see other people enjoying it, right? But I'm not with seeing what's going on in the world. There's too much going on, Bree, of what you have got going on, and actually I don't even listen, I don't want to come here and say, a lecture to anybody about anything, right? Because I want everyone to come to God the way they want to come to him. He's going to lead you there to me no matter what. So I don't want to tell you what to do. Right. The only thing I will do is tell you from my experience what those people who were infiltrating my group. So think about how many people it was. They always came 3 times. They came as husband and wife.
Hmm.
Wow.
And what they were doing was Pistis Sophia. They weren't only infiltrating to find out what I was doing as a January 6th whistleblower. That's not why they were there. That's why I thought that they were there the first 3 people I caught, right? Nope, that's not why. The real reason why was to take a Christian, a Jew who became a Christian, and make him go beyond it and become a Gnostic. So, I'm very much into nature and animals as well, Bree. But where I draw the line and where I did from the beginning of this whole thing was 0 idols, none, no
Right.
no trees, no nothing.
Right.
It's Jesus, and that is it. And what
Right.
that represents is really your access to God. Do you see what I'm saying? And so I
Oh,
don't want to tell anybody else how to do it, but in my journey, what I've found is the one key thing that we all need to hold is 0 idols. And if there
right.
is no idolatry going on, you're probably heading in a good direction.
Right. Right. Oh, I don't, I actually, like, I used to have, crosses and my pendulum thingies that had, like, Michael the Archangel and different stuff like that. But I had somebody tell me one time, you want to know where I get my word from? Susie and I sitting on the phone for 5 and 6 hours at a time in the middle of the night, taking every Bible there is and reading from it and deciphering it and breaking stuff down. That right there, that woman right there, we need to get together in a big prayer circle, because that is a knowledge right there. Just boom, mind-blowing stuff right there. That is where I have gotten most of everything that I have felt so comfortable with and put together with Susie. I had somebody tell me one time, you should get rid of those crosses, because Jesus actually didn't die on a cross. First of all, whoever they had up there was a straight pole, not a cross. The cross was made by the Vatican. And so that leaves you to ask, well, why? I first started questioning, why would the Vatican lie to people?
Control.
And then somebody said, the almighty dollar.
Well, that's
Well,
the whole
that
thing.
Well,
I mean, Rome realized they
why does
couldn't control-
anybody lie? Why does anybody lie, right?
Hang on. What was that, Tommy?
Well, I mean, Caesar, Roman, the leaders realized they couldn't control the far-reaching lands that they had conquered, like it was through actual control, because it was too spread out, too far away, and too much possibility for corruption on the fringes and stuff. So they realized if they could control the kings of those countries, of those lands, then they can control their subjects too. And that the whole Council of Nicaea and Constantine, when he co-opted and usurped Christendom into all the pagan traditions of the Roman Empire. That's where we get most of it. Christmas and Easter and those were both the celebration of Dionysus. But yeah, it's just layering idolatry over old idolatry. Essentially.
Okay, everybody hold the phone for a minute. I got to pick my jaw off the floor. As long as I have known Tommy, I have never known you to know that stuff.
Oh yeah,
I am completely freaking floored and amazed.
And Bree, what did I say to you before this show?
You talk about Caesar?
Yep.
You sure did. Wow.
That's
And Tommy was nowhere around. He didn't hear
So-
us.
So, by the way, Tommy, so the legions were being paid with the acquired lands. That's what Caesar had to pay them with. So they were forced to take more and more lands because you had to pay the legions because the legions would revolt back against you, right? The fine this week actually was that Augustus Caesar was looking to make himself into an idol, make himself into a god. And what he did was he created two cults in order to change the way the ruling structure of the world worked. So think about this, is everyone was, like you said, Tommy, being controlled by legions, you know, killing everybody, right? It was the ultimate society of control. If you weren't part of the elite, the Senate, whatever, those families, you were really just a slave, right? In every way, shape, and form.
No.
So what did they do? They were having these revolts, but what Julius Caesar and who was Augustus, who was his nephew, who was the one who took, you know, Julius Caesar's, all of his assets went to Augustus. Augustus said that he was going to rule like Julius Caesar from the people and give it back to the people away from the SPQR, which was the Senate. And so what wound up happening was the Senate successfully got Julius Caesar killed, and Augustus was going to avenge that killing, and he created two cults. One was for him, and the other one was called, guess what? Mars the Avenger. The Avenger.
Oh, jeez.
The Avengers, people.
Yeah.
They're telling us in the movies what is going on.
They always have.
So they have one cult, which is the cult of Caesar, and then the other cult, the cult of Mars, right? And now what do you have today? You have two different sides of Freemasonry, right? What do we think is going on? What was going on with England and France? Were they friends or were they fighting wars against each other? They were
friends.
They were cousins.
Yeah.
Of course they were friends. They were making all of their own people kill each other over in America.
Yep.
Our War of Independence was fought because the French aristocrats funded Thomas Jefferson to revolt against the British, who were the cousins. What is going on, people?
Too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
It's all a sleight of hand. They're all members of the cults.
Yep.
They were the Illuminated, all of them. And period. We've got to eliminate it. We've got to eliminate all secrecy out in the open. What we're doing here, having a conversation about it.
That's right.
So thank you for letting me get that out, Bree.
Oh, you are more than welcome. My goodness, Tommy, thank you. What else you got to say?
The title Caesar was like it's like a living god, essentially, and he declared himself God, and it was after essentially what the Egyptians had done and other cultures before that, but the whole the corruption in the Senate and the corruption in the aristocracy led to the creation of the Circus Maximus, which is what we have here in America, replicated at every high school, at every college, and in every major city, and through sports entertainment.
Notice the word you had in there, Magus. Magus, Shimon, Magus, Simon Magus. Everybody look it up. Do you know what I mean? That was, they they actually pretended that Paul was the first pope. That's not what happened. It was Simon Magus who was the first pope, not Paul, the apostle. You know, it's all the Roman Empire dominated once they realized that Jesus was real. In my opinion, once they realized that Jesus was real, and they stole the they knew the original power because it came from the Egyptians, right? But once they realized the Messiah Jesus was real, now they had to steal back that. And so they knew that Christianity was coming, so they created Catholicism in order to intercept it. Just like these people came into your show, Bree.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's whether they realize they're doing it or not, we are all picking a side. Hence why it's Chosen Kingdom and why my name is the Chosen One. And people think it's like about me. It's not about me. It's about us. Making the choice to choose between following God and following the idolatry of, Mars the Avenger. Mars the Avenger.
Yeah.
Mars the Avenger. We got that, and we got Caesar. So you got a pretty good comic book series, and also a decent salad.
Decent salad and comic books.
That deal. And I make light, but I'm not making fun of this.
No, we know.
No, you got to. It's almost a joke because they put it in front of our faces and we don't even see it.
And we never, yeah. I was thinking, I went back and looked at some stuff that I used to like watch when I was a kid, when I was a little kid. And I see no harm in it. I watch it now as an adult and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Videos, music videos. I seen the Cyndi Lauper video. And in the background of this video, I seen the pedophilia sign. And I was like, and this was a video back I watched in 1981, for God's sakes.
Do you know what we finished watching today? Rosemary's Baby. You have got to go watch it again.
Did it change?
For me, it did. I didn't realize at the beginning of the show that the husband knew all along. Right from the beginning, he was a part of it. And I thought...
A handler.
Yeah, he was her handler. Her husband.
Wow.
Did you notice her red shirt with the lace collar?
Yeah.
Exactly like something that Kate Middleton wears quite often,
Yep.
or whatever.
When she wore when she had her baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
When it right.
It pretty much tells that movie pretty much tells the story of what we got going on here.
Yeah. I mean, it really amazes me. And now I think because I'm, when I was younger, I seen all this stuff. I knew a lot of stuff, but I didn't know what it actually meant. I was too young. But now that I'm older and I'm awake, one day I went to a convenience store and I was outside in the car. Now I know what the Monster drink means. We all know what it means. We all know what the sign on it means. Well, they had a second can that they just came out of with a drink. And I'm looking at it and I went, that one doesn't even have the numbers hid. It just says 666. Looking at it from afar,
that's an actual
like,
Hebrew letter, 6.
Do it. Yeah. So now I notice more. I go to the grocery store. I'm going down the aisle. I'll see makeup stuff and I'll look and I'll happen to see a little something that is not good. And I'll be like, oh my God, they're putting this shit on everything. Everything we use, everything we eat, everything we drink, everything we do. The only thing that we can do to stay away from all of this is strip our butts naked and go live somewhere in the Congo, okay, to get away from it all. That's
You'll
it.
find
And hope you don't get dingo. What do they call that? Dingo fever from being bit in the ass by a bug. I mean, that's the only way we can get away from this.
They've done it to everything. They're dropping it from the air.
It
Yeah.
is. And people get angry, but you know what? And I understand the anger. And yes, I'm angry too. Because all we are to these people is lab experiments. We're guinea pigs running around in a ball in a cage.
They got it wrong, though. They got it wrong.
They do, because there are a lot of us that are going to end up getting together and they're going to get their butts handed to them. But eventually, and I understand the anger, but here's the thing. If you stay angry and you stay hell-bent on revenge, you're not going to get anywhere, people. They win. They win. Keep your head on straight. Take a deep breath.
Never let anybody. Never let anybody camp in your head rent free.
That's right. I'm going to tell you, I thank Tommy, because when all this stuff first started happening to me and I found out, my first instinct was, I am calling my Wicca friends, the ones that have been doing this for 40 years that are high priestess, and I'm going to have them get her. Tommy said to me, Brenda, no revenge. Be humble, because it will make her look like a fool. And you know what? I thought about it, and he's absolutely correct. And I sat there and thought to myself, karma is a bitch. It really is. And what comes around does go around. God takes care of his own. And eventually, these people will get what's coming to them tenfold. Period.
Yeah.
And yeah. If I would have thought if I'd have been around Tommy, I'd have hugged him so tight his head would have popped off, because he was absolutely correct. And it made my inner soul, and even with everything my body has had to go through because of what I've been going through, it made my whole entire inner body feel a sigh of relief.
Because you got to remember that God is in control, and you got to turn the reins over to him.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
The answer is a 4-letter word, and it's the most powerful thing known to the multiverse.
We're not allowed to say that on the air. Oh. What is it?
Love.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right.
You didn't know he was going there, Bree?
No, I knew he was. I was playing around. You got to understand something. I come from a long line of smarties. That's right, Tommy. You are absolutely correct.
It's
yes.
If you hold a grudge in any way, that's like a cancer inside you. It eats at you and robs you of your own joy. And every moment we have the chance to seek joy and be grateful and feel the blessings, or we can get just completely enveloped and lost in everything that slighted us, everything that's wrong with the world, everything that's, and I've lived heavily in that for the better part of the last 5 years, having gone through some things where when I was telling my truth and trying to help protect children from neurological damage from playing sports, there was a extremely aggressive, still is, campaign to silence me, which included a couple attempts on my life and ongoing targeting and gang stalking and all that fun stuff. And I spent hours plotting, like creating these mousetrap like scenarios of elaborate mechanisms to try to ensnare and catch non-lethal stuff, but enough to where it would get their attention and maybe remind them for life that it would that perhaps they were choosing a wrong path. But I realized that all that did was waste my time and my ability to focus on things I needed to get done, and that's what they want you. That's what they want to do with it. It's disruption, And if you're thinking about that, you're not thinking about the other things that could be benefiting mankind in some way, which was what they were trying to, and still are trying to, like, distract me from to begin with. And yeah, like
the archons, as they would call them, are intending to the infiltration is about disturbing what's going on, meaning causing confusion. Obfuscating is the word I use oftentimes, because it's all just to distract you from getting your message out. What'll happen on the social media websites is you'll actually have people who are only meant to comment on your thing, only to block it. You think you're doing great. People are commenting on your thing. Nope. It's to bury it in the, so I want you to think about this. When you do a thought online, you'll usually chain it, right? So you'll have a series of posts. They'll actually come and they'll post in the middle, and it blocks it and it stops the algorithm itself. So you don't get picked up into the algorithm. The comment that should have been picked up and should have gone viral doesn't, all because a bot came in, commented it, and marked it as, hey, go into the buried pile. You get what I mean?
Yes. I got an email last night that one of our shows, they deleted it. YouTube deleted it. And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, I haven't done shows in a month now. So who did this? I go in to see what show it was. It was a show that was done back in the beginning of May. It was one that Jenny came on, Susie, when we had Jenny as a guest. And it said that it had harmful content. And I'm thinking to myself, there isn't a harmful thing that Jenny has to say. What? So I just couldn't figure out why they deleted it. But that's okay, because I'm going to go find it. And I'm going to do just like they did the last one. I'm going to go find it, download it, and put it right back on there.
YouTube isn't going to like a word I used before. I'll tell you that much. Because
I actually contacted somebody there, got a hold of somebody on the phone, and I made them cry. They had to hand me to their supervisor. I was like, you know what? Let me tell you something, because I ain't the one to play with right here. First of all, I live in the state of Texas. Our Second Amendment rights are absolutely protected. And all I have to do is go to the Attorney General and take this in there. And you will get in trouble for deleting my content. There is nobody holding up anything. Nobody's promoting killing themselves. Nobody's promoting. There was no reason for this. So you put it back on there, or I'll go back behind you and I'll put it on myself. And every time you take it off, I'll put it right back on.
A friend of mine who's the sheriff in town, his content got blocked because they were doing like a 50-50 or like a raffle of a firearm to raise money for somebody who's in the hospital.
Yeah.
And everybody that shared that same post, all their accounts got suspended.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Now I do have to say this, and we all know I am a Second Amendment person all the way. I am completely guarded myself, carried for a living, will carry until I die. But yes, because there are children sometimes that get on here, they don't want people showing firearms. I can understand that. Okay, I will give them that limit. Okay.
But all these shows
a raffle, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But a raffle where you're, raffling stuff for someone to raise money like that, nah, I can't agree with that one. If it's somebody just showing them, you know, hey, look, you load this like this.
You know what? I don't even know a video game that doesn't have that, you know, shooting on
Right.
it. I mean,
What
every
about-
kid's
yes, exactly.
video, you know.
Exactly. What
There's
about
tons
that?
of like channels on YouTube that promote firearms, that promote. I mean, they'll show you how to make like noisy cricket, which is basically a damn bomb. And
Right.
they, you know, and you know, it just they use a CO2 cartridge to spent to as the housing, and you just scale that up with an oxygen tank or you know, a acetylene tank or something like that, or an old propane tank, and that just is that much exponentially larger, you know, kaboom.
Yep.
And it's I'm not it's I started seeing this stuff coming up in my in my feed, and I'm like, is this a fucking trap? You know, like, 'cause, I mean, we used to make shit like that as kids, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's like the show we had when we had Jim on there. He had a plastic replica of one of the weapons that was used against JFK. A plastic replica that had a signature on it and a date. Okay. And he showed people the plastic. It was on a thing on a plastic replica. Do you know they took my show down for that? And I went and downloaded it and put it right back up. Play with me, will you?
It's so arbitrary the way that they
yeah, they do carry it a little too far.
Well, just the way that they enforce it, because there's tons of, like, you know, million view channels out there that they're strictly Second Amendment channels, you know, and then we have a podcast where somebody mentions something and it's obviously, you know, a replica, and suddenly that triggers the algorithm. But what about the other creators? That's their whole focus.
Yeah,
you know, it's a shit show. You know,
honestly, I think it's a conservative thing. If you
once you get into that targeted, or once you get targeted, you know, it's they call it shadow banning, essentially.
Yeah.
So if you all, I think if you all go and look at my Rumble right now, that's where I mainly live, Chosen Kingdom on Rumble. But if you all go look at it, you look at the number of shows I've created, I bet you all come back with 3 different numbers, because I can't even see my own shows from December on my own Rumble app. Yep.
See,
and people come and they'll tell me they see 3 shows. I have 160 shows.
See, I was going to go start going live on Rumble. That way, if YouTube wanted to have a fit, they could go ahead and have a fit. I usually tell everybody, if we have a subject we're talking about and YouTube shuts us down, just wait till the end of the show. I will go ahead and upload it, and I've been uploading them to Rumble. Now, I was going to go ahead and start going live because I paid for this platform for a year, and then I was just going to go ahead and pay monthly for Rumble. Well, when my platform got stolen, I mean, Jesus, I live off of $900 a month.
You don't have to pay for Rumble.
Yes, I do.
No, I don't pay for Rumble.
Oh, I have to.
Why?
What platform do you use?
I use StreamYard.
That's why. I use Streamlabs, and Rumble's one of those that I don't just get. I don't get it.
I can go to anyone for free.
Now, they told me that there is a way to go and do it for free on Rumble, but I have to.
I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you how to do it.
And I have to make sure that I don't start it not even 1 minute late. If I do, I lose my slot.
No.
No? Oh, yeah. We're going to have to talk about this because
we need Patreon too.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what? I tried Patreon. I don't even understand that one. I have an account there and I just look at it like, what the hell do I do with this?
And then there's my OnlyFans.
I'm so sorry, Mark. I am so computer stupid. It ain't even funny. And see, when I first started this stuff, I had a little laptop, and it worked out great, you know. And I didn't have a little. Well, as I started getting the platforms and having more people on, I had to graduate. So I got rid of the laptop. I took it to Susie because she needed one. I took the laptop, wasn't even a year old. I take it to Susie and I go into a computer shop And $4,000 later, I walk out with a gaming computer. And right now, my gaming computer has absolutely nothing on it. So its capabilities, I'm sure, is pretty good. I just don't know how to use them.
Be
I
great for
just don't.
yeah.
I thought about, I know that there's a way, because I have a friend who does work on computers and he does them remotely and stuff. And I've given him access and he's come in and taken stuff off my computer and cleaned it up and yada, yada, yada. And I thought if I could, do that, have Tommy, because I know Tommy plays with this stuff. So I thought, well, if I can have Tommy come in, he can go in and do all that stuff and remote access my computer and he can do this stuff,
Right now, for my phone.
But he's got his phone, so it's going to kind of make it a little rough with, this big old thing. But I love this computer. I have this big old wide screen, like I can see, because I'm blind. I'm blind. I actually am blind in my right eye, because one day I was laying in bed, stupid, with my phone upside down, and my phone is heavy, and I dropped the corner of it right into my eye, and when I did, it smashed all the way into my eyeball and did damage from the back. Well, they wanted to go in and suck all the fluid out of the back of my eye and put artificial fluid in it that I'd have to have changed once a year, like I was a freaking car getting a tune-up. And I said, oh no, I don't want anything artificial going in my eyeball. That's too close to my brain. Too close to my brain. And so that was it. I was done. And so I am blind in that eye. And now with all the stuff that I have just gone through, we're waiting for everything else in my body, my sugar, everything else has to level out before I can actually see out of this one. I won't even try to put my glasses on because my eye is screwed up. So, but with this screen, I can see.
I think that your eye thing was part of that too. The copperhead, and the copperhead, what's made out of copper? Change.
What's made that? Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of change?
Did you say what kind of change?
Yeah, pennies.
Yeah.
It's funny, like there's that one that I'm not really going to directly acknowledge, but also the handler that pushed herself into my life and then broke cover and told me that that's what she was doing and had been assigned to me and had gotten a dossier in 2009. I was like this thick, and I didn't meet her till 2020. This person poisoned me multiple times, literally, and she's directly connected and given her marching orders from the 3-letter agency that's responsible for foreign intelligence.
I'm going to say something, Mark. Before the show, Susie was telling me something about what you and her were talking about glasses. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, go.
No, that
wasn't him. That was
somebody. No, because that was somebody else that gave me a phone call. That happened to do with the Bob Joyce Church.
That's right. And they were saying something about the poisoning type of witchcraft with glasses. Like, you put somebody's glasses on, okay? And they were talking about that. And I stopped Susie. And I said, wait a minute. And she goes, what? Now, if we remember correctly, all this stuff happened after I left her house. I said, the last night I was there, somebody and I were talking about their glasses. And she said, here, try them on. And I put them on.
The thing that Mark was talking about, Brenda, was about time.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, which is about watches. Okay, and that, there was a connection. We were talking earlier, Mark, about witchcraft and some of the ways that these type of people operate with objects, different objects,
mathematics,
and things like that.
Numerology. all of this stuff. And
time is a big thing for them. Yeah. And you called and you were talking to me about time, and so they this is why the government was so, and Tommy knows about this, about the time travel thing,
Right.
because they're so interested in what time it is, what's going to happen, how to stop it, how to change it, how to control it. And so watches are a big thing. Watches, clocks, time, numbers. And then you called me and we're talking about that, Mark.
And I had just told Susie yesterday, you need to go check every little nook and cranny in your apartment. I mean, on your property. Check everything. See if there's anything in there that shouldn't be there.
Witches like to leave
stone.
objects, like to leave and cursed objects. And this is what the other caller had said. They had found some rosary beads that were placed in their bathroom as a cursed item, and so witches will use different objects. And I was talking about watches, and then you called about time. So if you want to, you could talk about that a little bit, Mark, about the time thing.
And I'll just say, and in Rosemary's Baby, they gave her this little thing on her neck with tennis root in it. And, and it was, that was the thing that they used to put the spell on her.
Right. Hey, guys, listen. We kind of went a little over when we usually take a few minute break.
We take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, let's
so
go ahead and
something
take
to
us
eat.
a 5-minute break.
Drink some coffee and
so everybody can get up, use the bathroom and everything. So, of course, just like always, Brenda just, had that thought and forgot to put the stupid video up. But so everybody, our drill. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Please stand by for more interesting conversations. Oh, what? lost somebody. Putin wanted to make his nightly appearance. Say hello, Norma. I was sitting over here barking at my mom because I wanted to be an attention whore, and she would not pay attention to me. Are you done? Can you go lay down now? Yes? Maybe? I'm turd. I do not know where Tommy went. Let's see. I'm pretty sure he'll be back. See, Susie, this is the way we used to do our shows when we first started. We would all get together and just
Right?
start talking about fascinating
Right.
topics. I feel bad, Mark, because, you know, you're our guest tonight and we've all just been talking about all kinds of stuff. Like,
No, we're all,
it's been very interesting and very enlightening, though.
so if you want, Susie, I'll continue on that and sort of expose everybody as to what, you know, I feel I found in the
Yeah.
I think if people are of a math mind, and here he is, here's Tommy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
You're good.
because it has to do with what Tommy started talking about, which is the Roman Empire. So what date did Trump get the attempt on his life assassinated?
That was
Right?
wait,
The
I
third-
was
Was it the
13th?
13th?
That was the 13th,
Or,
right? So you know how these people
Okay.
always do something
on certain
to-
days.
on certain days?
Yes.
Well, what if I told you that was a very specific day for these people? So that day was the day that Augustus Caesar was going to make his holiday in his name, but it was already a holiday, so he moved it to the 12th, which was also Julius Caesar's birthday. And so when you're doing these things, because they use symbolism on everything, you can actually find what they're doing by thinking like them. And so I start thinking, and you know how you get these downloads, right? And I say to myself, wait a second, Julius Caesar is where they come up with the Julian calendar. It's got to be, right? I don't know this, but I say it's got to be. So I say to myself, let me think about this. The dates are
Good
important
point.
to them. And I put July 13th, 2024 into a conversion calendar, Julian to Gregorian. And guess what date comes out?
What day?
January 1st, 1900, the turn of the century. What are the chances of that? What are the chances of that?
It's slim, you know.
Slim, right? So now here's the thing. And I'm going to take you to, Susie, what you want to get to about the clock in a second, because it's all connected. So now what you have to realize is I go and I ask one of the people who's big into the Bible for me. I say, just confirm for me, when was Jesus born? Right? And she says to me, well, they say between 4 and 6. And I say to her, well, my number is 6 because that's the number. If you add 6 to it, you come up with 2030. So, and why you would add 6 is because 1900 is 0, is what in mathematics, what I'm going to call parity. Okay. Par. Like if you go to play golf, if they tell you you can get a 4 and you get a 3, you have a birdie. You did better than par. And if you get a 5, you did worse. Right. And so when you're at 4, you're within parity of where you should have been, right? So now, what I'm telling you is that they are looking at 2030 as an endpoint, and they proved it by attempting to assassinate Trump on the 0 point day. The mathematics proves this out. And so now, here's what you have to understand. They've told us all along 10 days of darkness, saying that there's 10 days that was eliminated in the Julian calendar at the turn over to the Gregorian, right? And so they're telling us we're going to go back in time to that turnover and we're going to recapture those 10 days of darkness, right? That's what the story is anyway.
Right.
Well, guess what? That's not the way the math works. That's not the way the conversion works. If you have a calendar that has 365 days today, right? We have a 365. Well,
Right.
if you have a 360-day calendar, you have 2 cycles working, and I want you to think about a clock. Ready? On a clock, you have a hour hand, you have a minute hand, and then you have a second hand. If all those hands were pointed at 12, directly north, right?
Right.
At that point in time, how many times does that happen in a day?
Twice.
Twice, right? So now parity between those 3 things happens twice in a period for this cycle. However fast it's moving, that speed to reach that parity is a constant, right?
Mhm.
So let's call that 12 a parity. Now, take another clock that's moving at a different speed, right? And now let me simplify it down. They only have each an hour hand, but one is moving faster than the other. So it's going like this, right? So
Right.
now, eventually, the fast one is going to catch up to the slow one, and there's going to be a new parity point, right? But the new
Right.
parity isn't at 12 anymore. It's at a new point, but the old parity remains. So what I'm telling you is eventually those 2 points meet up together at the 12 again. Now, the 2 clocks are running side by side, right? So when
Right.
those 2 come to the same time, these are 2 different realities that are going on. But at some point in time, they're all saying the same time.
Think.
Do you get it? So now,
That's it.
let me take you back into the thing. Now, here's the math of it. There's 5 days difference between 360 and 365, right?
Right.
So if you take 365 and you divide it by 5, you come out with the parity point. That's the mathematics of it. So just over 12,000 years is the parity. Now, if you go and you look at all of that metaphysical stuff, all the New Age stuff, they're all looking at the Kali Yuga thing. Guess how many years it is? 12,000 and change.
It's the procession of equinoxes.
Right. So what we are talking about here is that not only did the Indians know, not only did the Egyptians know, but the Greeks knew, and the Romans used it to hide it from us by creating these 2 temples of satanic worship in order to hide time from us. They changed time in order to make it so we don't have an understanding of this whole world that they have been living in all along. So they are looking and I'll just stop there and go back to, so they're looking at 2030 for something to happen that we don't understand.
So now, like, I know that there are other calendars, and honestly, we're not supposed to have 12 months out of the year. We're supposed to have 13. Okay.
Yeah.
So
You do that every 13 years. There's a
right. So they've got us behind time right now. We are behind time. We're not on 2024.
There's
We're
actually
supposed to
13
be-
constellations as well. You know that.
Right. So they've lied about everything to hide time. They're hiding time for what reason? For what reason? So we are unexpected on what's supposed to happen. We can't keep up with it. They know, so they know what to do, and they know their jump space, and we're stuck. Huh?
Keeps us enslaved because we're marching to the wrong rhythm.
Right.
And have the wrong, like, our sleep patterns and work patterns are all off. It's like music, being tuned to 440 when it should be actually like 432.
Yes. I remember when I was a kid, somebody my age was actually old. Acted old. I mean old.
Yeah.
Okay? Me? I was 50 years old, and I would be out there in a club out dancing 20-year-olds and pouring them in a cab. Okay? I never got old. I have one leg, and you know what? If I could get up and figure out how to hop around all over the house and do things, I sure would.
Norma
Sorry.
Norma has a good comment. I don't know if you can show that comment.
Yes, this one.
But yep.
Okay. Now that one's small for me.
So that's why in the Looking Glass they were told they will not exist after 2025, no matter how they alter the time.
That's right.
There's a convergence.
Yep.
The singularity.
Yeah, unfortunately, singularity, Tommy, because he is an evil guy. He is an evil guy.
It's
Kurzweil.
Yeah, we're being digitized currently right now. With
hey, Susie and I are telling y'all. We're telling y'all. We are going to put barbed wire around her property. We're getting our choice view circle that we all trust, and we are going to all shack up there, and God forbid anybody crosses that fence. That's all we got to say.
It's a community.
It's not a cult. It's a community.
Yeah, we don't use the word cult anymore.
Family.
Yes, we're going to use family. Only we're not going to be like the other families and go out and like cut people up and stuff. We're going to live. We're going to grow our vegetables and our fruits. And we're just going to be happy.
Hopefully, they don't chemtrail us to death.
And we are going to work on our abilities and our strengths and powers, safeties and numbers.
And
exactly. God and Jesus.
And they didn't go out and try to seek every child in the 70s and 80s that had some proclivity towards having psionic abilities for no reason. They wanted to see what could happen, and then what they're going to have to do for damage control.
See, us three right here, Mark, me, Susie, and Tommy, we all have one big major thing in common. And I will tell you, when that woman came in my room, she already knew. She walked up to me and said, the only thing I seen over your head when I came in here was a sheet of gold. And what that person that tried to kill you did not understand is you have the backbone of the gods. And you are stronger than you know. And that is something that me and Susie and Tommy all have in common. And it's heritage. And you better be quiet or I'm going to pack you up and ship you to Aunt Elizabeth. It's funny. You want to go on vacation?
Amen.
Can you talk a little bit about the convergence when you talked about the convergence of time, Mark? What's your take on that?
Yeah, so actually I was telling Susie before that they created time when they created a mechanism. And a mechanism that is called an entrapment. So think about what that word is, right? An entrapment.
Mhm.
And what it does is, and I want you to think about it like this, is you have a pendulum that swings back and forth, right? And just that motion, like Tommy, someone who plays a piano uses a metronome in order to stay on time, so the song sounds well, right?
Yeah.
So, in having this swinging mechanism, it releases a latch. So I want you to think about time being click, 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 click. And every time it clicks, it can't go back the other way. It gets stopped by the next one, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how they created time, because they were able to create a precise measurement that would be consistent. And so time is really a measurement. And so if I were looking at things like we were talking about before, if my hand went really fast and yours went really slow, are we living in the same time, or are we living in different times?
Different times.
Well,
Or
and the Greeks had two different types of time. There's chronos and kairos, and the chronos is the chronological, like the calendar and the map. I mean, the clock, and that's the thing that keeps us structured and marching and enslaved. The other one is outside, is the time outside of time. That's God's time, and that's like when we're having fun, and when time flies. It's this.
I like it.
It's elastic at that point, and which is how it really is all the time. Like it's like I used to race downhill skateboarding, and people would ask me, what it was like. I said, it's meditation. It's like the infinite now. I mean, you can only be, the run could be maybe less than a minute and a half, but it feels like hours, where you're just in the moment, and so much so that you can't think of anything else. It's like forced meditation,
Yep.
But but there's same thing, playing music, making art, engaging with friends, hiking, like getting immersed in nature. All those things help feed our help to nourish our emotional and mental health and our physical health. And the way that the factory model of extraction of energy and productivity of humans, and in a way that trades them to the absolute minimum they could possibly get away with, of monetary script. That's where these epidemics of mental illness come from. It's just sociopathic greed, legislative theft,
and MK Ultra.
Yeah, and MK Ultra is that's like the taking all those mechanisms and honing them down to where you've got
it's a weapon. It's a weapon.
Yeah.
Tommy was involved with some of those projects. He was in some of those projects.
Still am.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear, Tommy.
As a kid, yeah, I was brought in for some, to develop my psychic abilities.
One of my guests on the show, who's been on twice, who's a horse trainer, Doug Phipps.
Yeah,
he's
Doug.
Yeah, we've had him on here. We like Doug. Matter of fact, he's gonna come back.
Doug's a good guy. I actually, so in December, before, right as I started my show, I, like you, Bree, spent a lot of money. I spent $2,600 to get tickets to go to the Trump Gala in New York City, so I could lay my eyes directly into Donald Trump's eyes. And some really crazy things happened. And
you want to be around something beautiful, Mark?
Yeah.
Go sit with Barron Trump.
Yeah. No kidding.
That boy is beautiful. He is so different, very different.
Yeah.
And he's a good kid, very intelligent, very calm. When they say Trump, Trump, I really can honestly say this. They're worried about the wrong Trump.
Well,
That's
this
what
is going back to the singularity thing, in that when who was that said that? When she said that, what she's honing in on there is that same thing. When you go back to those clocks, what I want you to think about is they're moving at different speeds, right? But what is happening is the one that's moving fast is slowing down to go to that same speed. And they're eventually going to hit that 12 o'clock at that same time and then just stay right on point with one another. And that might be what that 2030 point is, if we figure out what we need to do to help Jesus get us there, which is, I mean, in my mind, and I don't mean to influence, is in my mind, it's just to, really seek him out and forget about all this other stuff, because it's really meaningless. And like Tommy was saying before, the hate thing is eating us away.
yes, it
It
is.
it's so debilitating to your personal life, and it's why they're attacking us. They want us to fight back because it distracts us from looking at this 2030 thing. You know what
Yes.
I mean? And
And
allowing it to happen.
yeah, and in all actuality, unity. Our unity is what's going to save this planet. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, our love, our respect for each other, our unity is what's going to do it.
Well,
And
God
people don't
wants that.
realize, yes, and people don't realize the strength we have together. When we have peace and we have unity, we are so powerful. We don't need anything else. Throw your guns away. People don't realize we do not need it when we have unity and peace.
That's why
And
they
that's
put
what they don't want.
that's why they put handlers on
Amen.
celebrities, because they
Yep.
don't want anybody gaining enough influence to where it distracts from the master plan of the 1%, and if total enslavement through electromagnetic behavioral modification, torture, brainwashing, through
And
remote neural monitoring, voice to skull, all those things that they've created technology for, but to confuse people. That people think that God's talking to them a lot of times, and it's just it's either AI or it's some asshole at a desk that's listening to their thoughts and watching what they're seeing through their visual cortex.
well,
And
and
it's
I'll tell you, it's not that 1% that has got us enslaved. That little percent, these people that have done this to us, that are doing this to us, I don't know if the people of this world understand that it is such a small portion compared to the rest of us that it's laughable.
yeah, but
It is
it's something where they have enough people brainwashed and convinced to protect them for a little bit of extra money, and live nicer.
right.
That's what gang stalking is, and like the whole police state thug force, like it's
Yep.
not to protect our civil rights. It's to protect the the folks in the gated communities and the and who that live by their own set of ethics and laws, and they don't worry about things like going to prison for the most part, because that's what lawyers are for.
Someone will get them out. Rebecca asked a question, Mark. When you went to see Donald Trump, what did you see in his eyes?
So, Rebecca, it's a little bit of a long story, but I have two shows. I have one show on it, and I have one of the recording of what happened, because I've recorded everything for 5 years. And so I went there to go look in his eye to see if it was really him. And because like you, Bree, like you, Susie, like you, Tommy, I have something going on.
Yes.
And so my wife and I went because that's what we went to do. Well, the person who was running the whole thing, or one of the ones running the whole thing, was who invited me. It was my friend. And I bought them really early, so you would think I would have the best seat in the house. I got sat all the way as far as you could possibly be away. Well, to make a long story short, I went VIP. I was in the VIP room. I sort of pretended to be drunk for a while and having a good time.
Nice.
And what it led to was me meeting everyone in the whole room.
Nice.
And it was typically me, but they thought I was drunk. And the thing was I ran into one particular person and looked him in the eye, and it was not what we wanted to see, folks. And it was somebody that we all know really well, and somebody that you all love. And so I mean, I'm gonna leave the names out, and you could go and look, and you'll figure it out, right? But what I'll say is this: is 2 hours later, I was at my table having a great time, cheering like a New Yorker for everyone, right? Who was up. All the other people were stiffs. The wives were looking at me and my wife going, you know, they wanted to stand up, but the husbands weren't going to stand up. Well, Trump comes on and everybody just goes nuts. I'm filming. And the Secret Service taps me on the shoulder and goes, Mark, let's go. And I turn and I look at him and I go, and he's a guy like smaller than me. And I say to him, I'm sorry, but I spent $2,600 on this. I'm not going anywhere. I'm seeing my president speak. Come talk to me afterwards. I'll tell you whatever you want. And the next thing he said to me was, are you going to hurt Trump? Are you here to hurt Trump? And I said, what? You're telling me there's 800 people in this room and you don't know who I am? I bought it on my business. I have a podcast that fully supports Trump, and you don't know who I am? Is that what you're trying to tell me? I go, you take this letter from me that all 4 of the last guys I tried to hand my letter for Trump to, you take this letter from me and go read it and then tell me what I'm here for. And he goes, I can't take that. I said, no, you're going to take it because you think I'm a threat. So you're going to take it. So he takes it and he goes and he stands 30 feet away from me, hands the letter off to somebody else, and stands there and watches me for the next hour and a half. So we leave, and then I leave with them, my wife, and this young kid who had befriended us. Young kid, I probably 28, 30. Go out with the Secret Service. They take me outside to have a conversation. Come on, guys. You're not going to take... I told you I'm going to tell you everything. And you take me outside for a conversation? So I explained to them my whole story about January 6th and the Proud Boys. And what winds up happening is nothing. They say, thank you very much, Mr. So-and-so, you know, have a great night. And I say, wait, don't you want to do something about what I said? You don't know this? You realize that the guys talking in your ear know all of this, and they're just having you yes me to death? They didn't care. And we left. Well, we go out to the bar that everybody went to from the gala, had a great time. This young kid stayed with me all night, had an unbelievable time. Guess what? You're not going to believe it, Tommy. Guess what? The 28-year-old kid.
Who was it?
Yeah.
What?
The guy from the rally that shot him.
No.
Okay, good.
28-year-old kid that was with me all night befriended me and having a great time, me and my wife. He was Secret Service. He was a young Secret Service kid. They had planted him on me for the night.
Nice.
And I didn't figure
You're
it
your own
out
private little handler, huh?
until 2 weeks later. I didn't figure it out. The Secret Service calls my wife on Monday, and my wife is at work, and she doesn't pick up. We're from Brooklyn, so it's my wife doesn't take bullshit. Sorry, and
I like her already.
she calls me up, freaking out. She goes, "Why did the Secret Service just call my phone and leave a message? Here's the number. You call them." So I call him up immediately, and I go, "Why are you calling my wife?" And she goes, "Well, sir, we just have to check on next of kin for well-being." I said, "Well-being for what? Did you read my letter or not?" And so the reason I got into this story was because Doug Phipps is one of the only two people I named in that letter to Donald Trump. It was a one-page letter.
Oh,
And I actually asked Donald Trump to help out him and help out this one other guy who are among what I see as probably the worst two men that I have seen that have been handled by the deep state in a way that is just degrading. Like, I feel really bad for Doug. I really do. I yearn for a way to help him.
I think that if that letter were to get to him, it might work because I got a message from my medical, and my whole entire last hospital bill was just picked up by somebody.
Well, it did. It got to him because the Secret Service acknowledged it. I said, "Do you have my letter? Did you read my letter?" And she goes, "Yes." They took a picture of it. Period. That's it. You know what I mean?
That's really weird. I had this dream that there was like a false flag event going on, and Trump had observed it, and he knew what they were doing. Like, he knew that the deep state was doing that, and he's walking away, and I walk up to him, and he says, "I know what they're doing, but I'm not interested in that. But I'm interested in the letter that you have." I had a letter that he said, "Can I have that?" And I said, "Sure." And it was a letter about somebody that needed help. So he said, "That's what I'm interested in, is in that letter that you have." So I gave him the letter. And when I looked at Donald Trump, I saw like all these sigils on him. Right. And I'm like, "What is that?" And then at that moment, I saw a certain ex-president who just like remote viewed and was spying on us at that time. And when that happened at that moment, he said, "I gotta go." And I said, "So do I. See you later." But the letter that I had, right? Gotta go. But he was interested in that letter, and now you just tell me you gave a letter. I'm kind of blown away by that.
I'm trying to look for it right now. Hold on.
I've heard just so much backlash and so much, so many things, and there has been so much to discredit a man who gave up money to be president. I can honestly say, I don't know if it would be out of comfort or out of greed, but I wouldn't have given up a couple $1 million just to be president of the United States. You know what that tells me? That man didn't even take his paychecks. He cashed them and kept $1. People say all kinds of shit about him, but do you know where that money went? He put it into black colleges for kids that couldn't afford to go. But yet this is such a horrible man. Horrible man.
Oh my God.
Money.
This is funny what I just found. I found my letter which they never responded to. I FOIA requested all the information they have on me from that Trump gala. Nobody ever Nobody responded.
Yep.
Because it's FISA. It's locked up in FISA courts.
I'm locked up in the FISA court.
Same with all my stuff. They sent a SWAT team after me and told them I was armed, homicidal, most likely headed for a school 2 weeks after the Parkland shootings, in retaliation for me calling out criminal conspiracy to deny me my civil rights and commit hate. We're talking about CTE and just brain injuries for kids in sports.
Ow.
Why isn't this coming?
You know what? Mark.
Ah, here. I got the letter. You want to show it?
Yeah, you can screen share it. You know how to screen share it?
Yeah.
And I'll put it up.
I want to make sure nothing personal is on here. Hold on. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to take out my name, my full name, because it's here. That wouldn't be cool, right? Hold on. Keep talking. Let me download it a second and take out my name.
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
Right?
Y'all, I am really glad to be back. I'm still a little sluggish, but I'm getting better. And we're going to do things. Mr. Tommy is going to help us come up with some more intro music and exit music. And we're going to get some artwork going. And go back to when Susie and I started this platform in January, we started it to where we would come on here and we would do just this, Mark. We would sit and we would have conversations about things like we were all just sitting on a telephone call, and everybody liked it. And then somewhere down the line, it got critical and got to be stuffy and professional. And we actually lost some people because of that. But, we've met some really great people doing this show. I mean, some really great people.
How many people do you have watching normally?
Oh God, usually by the time we're done and everything is finished, we've got anywhere between 30 something and 30 to 80 people will pop up on the thing as viewed.
As live.
Yes. Because I go out live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TiVo, and then I download it to Rumble when the show's over.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
So, we get pretty good views, and we've only been doing this since January. We only do 2 shows a week. We've already got like 170 some odd, 177, 179 subscribers.
Okay.
I mean, we're just like I said. If we have 50 people watching and we reach one person, then we've done our job. And that's the way we look at it,
I'm going to share this letter now, okay?
All right.
Let me make sure I got the right one. Yep, I do. Right? All right. You see it moving now? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
All right. You want me to read too? I'll read. Dear President Trump, I want to thank you for everything you've done. I'm forever in your debt, as I know Jesus because of you. See, I spent nearly 4 years in a privately funded and loan operation to help you help America. I've stayed in the shadows for safety, but also my daughter is the one who wants the spotlight, and I never want to take that away. I have it all recorded, all of it, but you know that. And I say that because I recorded the FBI, but I know that they recorded me back. And that's where that's coming from. And he'll know that because the FBI knows it, So here's my ask, Trump. I want my team to help build back America. See, they helped me expose the story behind Brockett, that was my name in the Proud Boys, and the Chosen One, who I've been through all this Anon stuff, right?
Right.
So I put together some team of magi with unique skills, like you guys, where I've met a lot of people who have a skill. And Here's what we can do. 1, rebuild the model for healthcare insurance in America. This is my specialty. I have the solution for it, and it's really simple. 2, revamp America's leadership by eliminating the need. Data science and technology solution. Take out the middlemen. I'll explain. This guy, JP, who does what I used to do, which I spent 25 years on Wall Street building algorithms for equity trading. I'm an inventor in the space.
Nice.
I don't do that anymore. I quit and changed my life and went through, as Tommy, you might understand this, the dark, what do they call it? Dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
And came out the other side a Christian. Revamp America's leadership. So he'll explain the process as the data scientist behind the idea, and we'll do it for free. In other words, our vote is never going to be stolen again via my solution here.
Nice.
3rd, bring America to the Lord by showing them that they're all special. They are all much more powerful than they realize. You do, I do, but they must know it. My team is the best. There are about 200 of us on Truth Social that I know of that they have the gift, right? It's just a matter of being aware of it. And everyone has it. It's just a matter of being aware of it. Like you said, you want to develop it, right?
Yep.
So two more things personal. I'd like you to help my family feel safe. My wife has been very scared, and I'd like to offer her relief. And there are a number of individuals I feel need the same protection, including Doug Phipps and Quinny. I'm not exactly sure their situation, but they're begging me for help, and I want to help. I couldn't have asked for a better life than this. Thank you, Mark, the chosen one, formerly known as Brockett. And that's it, and I'll stop sharing.
Nice.
Wow.
But I know that he got it. I know it because they told it to me. So here's the question. If they know that, they know I can do it, where are they? Where are they? They know it. They've already got it all handled. It's got to be, guys. There's no way they're letting me walk around with videos capturing what they did to January 6th and how none of the police forces that I gave the evidence to and recorded giving it to them, they're all going to go down. So you tell me what's going on.
Right.
There's no way. There's no way that this is not an operation. They have it all, or they would have come. I offered them the database. They never came back. What is going on, Bree? What's going on, Susie? What's going on, Tommy?
They intentionally going to crash it. They're going to, they want to suspend the Constitution so that they can institute New World Order, and this utilitarian, fascist state worldwide.
Well, either way, whether it goes towards New World Order or whether it goes towards the good, you cannot you can't fix this system. This system has got to be torn down before it can be rebuilt. Whether it is for the good or for the bad, hopefully it goes more towards the good. But it has got to be torn down. If it doesn't come down, it cannot be rebuilt. You cannot take what is already broken and not working for people and try to put a stitch in it. No, you've got to get rid of it. You've got to completely dump it.
Got to get rid of the secret societies.
Yes.
And yes.
And their evil, like hidden hand, essentially. You
got to see the opening to my show. It's in there, the hidden hand. Well, you guys got to watch the new opening because it's all in there.
And we definitely got to have you back. We've only got about 5 minutes left, Mark. So do you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I'm the Chosen Kingdom on Rumble is where I get most of my views. I'm also on YouTube under that. Truth Social, I'm the Chosen One. On X, I'm the Magi Party. I also have the MagiParty.com where I help candidates who don't have the technological resource or the reach in order to generate interest in their candidacy. So people can go to themagiparty.org or .com and check out the candidates that we have there. We have a candidate that won in Texas, the Republican nomination. So we have our first winner. Go check it out. We had the New Hampshire primary debate for the governorship there. So come check everybody out. We'd love to see you. And come on our show, Bree and Susie and Tommy.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And Tommy, everybody, Tommy, tell everybody where they can find you. And I'm going to put your Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong cash out up. Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong to help Tommy out with his little endeavors he's got going on. He's been working his little tail off and then trying to help us too. Poor guy. He's like, these women, they want.
Yeah, it's the story of my life.
You stop it.
Mostly here and there. I like to camp out in the quantum field, under the stars. But no, online, all the usual suspects. Facebook, Touchdown Tommy Edwards. Instagram's the same thing. On YouTube, it's Tommy Edwards 7062. I have a TikTok, but I can't remember exactly what it is. Tommy Edwards, something like that. I'm on like my third X account in the last 3 months because they keep locking me out of the ones I have. And it's like Tom Edwards or Tommy Edwards, like 01 or some shit like that. And then I've got of course, Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong's cash app or cash tag Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong, and it's Big D, Big G. Everything else is small.
Big G. That's why I got it up there. Big G, Big G.
So like I gotta get my music and stuff like relaunched because for some reason that got all pulled from the streaming things and stuff. But my OnlyFans page is it's currently down.
No.
They said my content was too blistery. I had a really one of those big hurricane fans that we just put some footage up on, and we had two slaying fans like pointed at each other. And when you post two fans blowing each other, it's it's a little bit spicy for the reality, but nothing but fan footage. I also like to call it the fan zone.
I'm going to start an OnlyFans page for Putin, Norma.
There you go.
He seems. I thought about getting him some little boots and a little cowboy hat. I don't know.
Can you imagine if Anons took over OnlyFans and just made ridiculous things? It would be hysterical.
God, it would be. It would be absolutely fun.
Yep. Yeah.
Everybody,
I didn't mind. I'm on the autism spectrum, and sometimes I'm a little bit literal. I'm like a Clutch fan. I need to get some footage of that. Let's see. Hey, this is a Babe Ruth ceiling fan. It's a classic.
Oh my God, Tommy. Everybody, you can find me and Susie here on Beyond the Box every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. Eastern Time to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. No, wait, I'm sorry. That's Central Time. 10 p.m. Central Time to midnight Eastern Time. You know what? I'm in Texas. It's 9 o'clock. That's when it starts. Y'all get over it. So anyways, this has been a fantastic show. Mark, I definitely want you to come back. We definitely have to also talk. And everybody else out there, you know what we're about. We love you guys. We will catch you tomorrow night. And always, like always, please be kind to one another. We love you and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Goodbye for now from Beyond the Box. Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box. Please join us again for Beyond the Box, Friday and Saturday evenings from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern. Join us for more intel bombs with our extraordinary guests.
Break it down.
Good night, Putin. Good night, Tucker Carlson. Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box.